Radio.
Code Radio.
So what happens when three intuitive healers get together to discuss life, love, and spirit? Well, let's just say it gets real. And a little spicy. Welcome to Serenity Soul Sisters. Well, welcome everyone. I am Barbara Califano. Welcome to Serenity Soul Sisters, and I'm here with my best buddies, Gina Simone and Bobby Allison. And tonight we have a special guest with us. Brian is here. Where's Brian? Gina.
Right here.
I know Gina's on her way over. She's going to be up any moment. And Bobby is here. We've had a lot of technical difficulty tonight. Some things just, I don't know. I think it's the energy. What's going on? This happens all the time. Gina is on her way in. We're gonna be.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, she's there. Okay, give
awesome. There was, you know what, Gina? It was so weird because they didn't have passcodes for the Zoom. Yeah, you did.
Bottom.
Yeah, I don't know. Brian didn't have to do it. Brian, you didn't have to put a passcode in, did you?
No, I just clicked on it and
I don't know.
it led me into the meeting.
It let you in. You were allowed in.
Yeah.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. How is everybody doing?
We're doing great. Gina, how you doing?
My tummy is feeling like really upset. So if you see me leave, it's because I'm running to the bathroom.
Okay.
Don't want to be graphic.
That's okay, because this is
we keep it real. We're keeping it real, G. Just, you know.
See now, Brian, when Brian talks and his face goes into the little box where mine usually is, I see the same thing on him, just his forehead and his eyes.
You got back up, Brian.
That too.
Brian, got back up a bit. Okay, now bring it down a little bit.
No, you can't, because it's almost like it makes you it's it.
All right, so you know what? Then you all get your asses right here to the studio. That's it. No more Zoom. I don't know what to tell you. I always see half your face. You're like, remember that TV show, Home Improvement? It was that guy.
Wilson.
Wilson. You're Wilson. Oh, Gina, Bobby, you look good. Okay, I see your face.
Yeah, but
Gina's Gina's okay. I can see Gina's face, but
do you do it on a phone or a computer?
I'm on an iPad.
An iPad. See that?
All right, gotta
Gina,
go.
your hair looks great.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I love it. Did you cut it?
All right. Yeah.
I love it.
I can't. Oh, damn it. I can't find it. Nice to meet you, Brian.
Nice to meet you.
That's Mama G.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good.
Brian, you're one of the girls tonight. We're throwing you in the mix. You're one of the witches.
I love it.
You love it.
You met Brian at Ronald McDonald's house.
I did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Seen him one time. He was a reader.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian.
He comes all the way.
That's okay.
Are we allowed to say where you're from, Brian?
Yeah, I live in South Jersey. So.
Yeah, he travels far when he goes to the Ronald McDonald house, and he does it. Oh, so nice of you. You're such a good person, Brian.
Anytime. I always try to make it, but then things just don't work out from time to time. But
the effort's there, and you do great work. You do great work.
Yes, he does. He does lots of great things. But I want to say something before we start is everybody get your book orders in for Gina.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to give them out for the holiday gifts, Gina, you can still get them out before the holiday, right?
Yes, Amazon Whispers of Love
right.
by Gina Simone.
Hey, Gina, if you want to send me some kind of graphic of some sort, I could put that up on the show as well.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I can't do it now because that would require technology, and I need to.
Now, like whenever you want, I'll have it set up before the show starts.
And Brian, you have a book as well, right?
Oh, I have 8 of them that came out this year.
8?
Wow.
8 books?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're the man.
Most of it has already been. I've written it years ago. It's from all my poetry journals that I have. That I was just like, you know what? It was my therapy because my mom was going through cancer treatment, so I needed something on my downtime that relaxed me. So that's
Right.
what I did.
That's awesome. Did you channel?
But I have
Do you channel? Or is it, what was it?
the new one that I'm working on is mostly it's channeled from my healing guides. They're help because I've been doing a lot of internal healing stuff, the shadow work that a lot of people don't want to go into.
Yeah.
I'm the one running towards it. In fact,
Why?
I run towards it, and my demons run away from me because you know what?
What?
It brings the balance and that internal balance that
Wow.
we all need. It's really, if you really get to know the depths of your soul, you really start to understand why you are the way you are, the characteristics that you have. Even some of the healing work that I've been doing is past lives things that's come up. And what we consider alternative timelines or dimensions, we have lives in those. And
We have what? What do we have?
past lives.
Right.
You have past lives in the alternative dimensions,
Oh,
as
okay.
people say.
Okay.
But in spirit, what my guide was telling me is in spirit, it's all the same.
Right.
It's like you get to choose whether you want to come here to Earth or to another galaxy, to another planet. It's all
Right, because time is
all in
everlasting.
there.
Nothing is separate.
Yep. And what was interesting is when you guys were talking about it on previous shows, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And now with what Bobby was saying about the what was it? The contracts are being broken. That I'm seeing is true because now it's more of people really starting to do the healing work on themselves. And in doing the healing work, people are realizing and really reclaiming their power.
Right.
And taking a stand on what they're allowing and won't allow in their lives.
Right.
Like, I've refused to let people, if people lie to me, it's like, okay, I got you once, I'll get you again. And then I cut you off.
Can we go back to that contract thing, Bobby, that you said, how we don't have contracts anymore? I understand the concept of contracts. I always got that and I resonated with it. But now you're saying we don't have them anymore?
No, because that was all the contracts. I learned this from Maria, so it's not my own knowledge, but it makes a lot of sense. We were all bound to the contracts, the Akashic records from the third dimension. That was part of Gaia and the ascension of the earth and this realm. And once we ascended, all those contracts, we don't have to experience all that stuff that we experience that is bad or sad or negative, because moving up, the ascension, well, some people equal it to the Bible, like the rapture. I don't want to get into religion with people, but this is what some of the spiritualists are saying. It has to fit right with you. It has to sit right with you. Nobody's trying to talk anybody into it. But you figure that when we went from the third to the fourth, where we used to dream in the fourth dimension, everybody couldn't sleep and people having these bouts of being awake and they weren't remembering their dreams and so on and so forth. Now everybody's getting to that fifth dimension, and it's really about peace, love, and all that. But there are people that still won't ascend, and they stay kind of tethered down to the third dimension by repeating the same old stuff. So you have to shed not only people around you that bring you down, but you have to think about your healing and being worthy and all of those things so that you can cut the cords, if you want to call them cords, tethers, anchors, whatever. So now that we're in that, there is no more contracts. That's why it's hard. Even like Kim said, it's so hard to do a reading psychically because those contracts aren't there anymore. We're not bound to them. So when somebody comes to us for a psychic reading, and because it's really your creation of thought moving forward, we don't know what somebody's going to think one day to the next. We only saw psychically what was written in that contract, so to speak. But I can still do it as far as like what the person is most likely going to go down by reading where they're at in their ascension, what their belief is. So it's a little different and shifty, but I can still do it. Some people can't. Some of the psychics are saying like it's impossible. I can't do it because there is nothing that's written, that's bound. But I keep saying, you know, time is everlasting, and you can stand on that diving board, which they showed me back in the 90s, late 90s when I started doing this. They showed me these worlds or lifetimes, and they were swirling. And you stand on this sort of diving board, and you pick where you want to go, like Brian was just saying, what dimension, what planet, and so on and so forth. So all of this stuff mixed together, if it sits right in your gut, then you have to think and build on that and say, oh my goodness, I better have good thoughts or cancel out the ones that aren't so good so that I can ascend and I don't have to deal with all the BS of the third dimension anymore. Because that fear wants to keep us there. It wants to keep us bound to that realm, to that level, that dimension, I should say, I can get my word out, dimension, so that they can feed off of our fear. Because, you know, negative breeds more of itself, but so does positive. So as you move up and you think, well, today this is what I desire, or this is what I want to experience, it comes to you because now your higher self is like, they're getting it. Now it's all about them, and it's all about deserving, and it's all things positive. That's how I look at it. It's hard to explain it, I guess, until you actually sit and listen to some of the videos of all the ascension alchemists moving forward. They all have like different things to say, but yet it's beautiful when you let it sit with you. And no more contracts. So I'm sorry that was a little long-winded, but I was trying to get it out the way that I
it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But so Brian, what shadow work? What kind of shadow work? Explain to people what the shadow work does, like, and how it works, and why you run to it more. Go into a little more detail about that.
Shadow work is really basically what it is you go inside yourself, you go inside your body, inside your soul, and you really start to see that negative energy that was, or not energy, but that voice that's inside your head that sends you that fear that says, oh, you know what? Don't do that. That always tries to keep you from doing what you know in your soul and your gut and your whole body knows you should be doing. But those demons in there are the ones saying, no, you shouldn't do that. They pull you away from the light and bring you into the darkness, which is addiction, which is self-harm, and really, it's really deep stuff that some people don't want to deal with. Traumas from past lives that you've carried on into this life. Traumas that happened even in this life that you've experienced that you chose not to go into because it may set you off. Mm-hmm. I go into it going, okay, well, you know what? Where there's darkness, there's some light there, but you got to bring it all. You got to open the gate, open those curtains to bring in that light. So you got to go in there, and you got to talk to your demons and really strange enough, develop a relationship with them and get to know them. And that's when you start to really dive deep into it. I do mine in my dream time only because if I'm awake doing it, I will sit there and analyze it, and I will miss something. So if I'm dreaming, and my guides, my helping guide, my aunt, I call her Aunt Yolanda. She's actually an ancestress of mine, and she takes me into certain timelines that I was in a life with. And there's been times where I've actually experienced my own death. That in itself is traumatic, but you do it from a place of observation. where you're observing it, you're seeing it, you're feeling certain things, and at the same time, you're not sitting there going, "Oh, well, what's this about? What's this? Oh, I didn't know this was there." You're letting it flow out of you, and
Right,
the more
that's
you
the purge. You're right.
it's the part of the purge, and then you can, in the dream time, you can sit there and know, okay, well, I experienced this in this past life. That would explain why. And the strange thing is, yes, I'm a psychic medium. Yes, I've had loved ones die, but I always kept wondering why I was so afraid of my parents dying. And in a past life, not only did I die in front of them, but there was a past life where I left. I left Ireland because it was in Ireland during the potato famine, and was killed on the passage over, and never got to see my parents again. So it really strangely enough, it comes full circle for. And
Right.
if you're doing the work, it comes full circle, and you can actually heal a lot of those painful cell memories that come along with you.
So let me ask you, how do you do that? And like, how do you, when you go to sleep, right? Are you focusing, or do you set an intention before you go to sleep? How do you
usually
get into that dream state with all that?
I usually ask my Aunt Yolanda, as I call her, and I say, "Aunt Yolanda, tonight's the night we're gonna go dreaming," as I call it. Take me to where I need to bring my attention and my light to. And she will. It's almost like what shamans do when they are using the rattle or the drum. They can step out of time and actually go forward and backwards, sideways, up and down, and all over, and connect into timelines. That's what she does for me, because when we're asleep, it's almost like our little mind just kind of takes a long nap, and you don't have to sit there and analyze everything.
Right.
And for me, doing the work consciously, I've always thought, well, I have to analyze this. I have to figure out why this happened.
Right.
What's this about?
That's ego, yeah.
So when
It
you're
was what my
sleeping, your
God-
ego is sleeping, basically,
Well,
right?
I think what he's saying is the ethereal self
Right.
is really what it is. And like people that astral travel and people that can, go to other places when they're sleeping, because when you're sleeping, you're really living another life because that silver
Right.
cord is connected to your soul. And then those things that you're talking about, Brian, about the demons, yes, from traumas from all lifetimes, that trauma becomes your demons. When people say, oh, they got, they did an exorcism or whatever, it's really themselves. And then another name for it is the fractal selves, which took me a
Fractals,
long
yeah.
time to grasp.
Yeah, those are the
But
fractals.
when
I was
she
going to
told
say
me about
that.
I was like, oh, what is
Yeah.
that? And then there's like the higher self, and then she sends out this many, then there's your future self, and then this many, then it goes down and down and down to your fractal selves. And these are the ones that we talked about this last time. Remember, Brian? Those are the ones that experience, it's almost like, not like a Sybil per se, God forbid, but it's different parts of our personality and ourselves that experience hard times, abuse, maybe a happy time, and they all kind of are there, but you have to one by one integrate them. And then that's the shadow work,
Right.
is getting through all those
Yeah.
things, forgiving and all that stuff. And sometimes the ego, it holds on to those things because it's afraid. What do you put there? What do you do with it?
Yeah.
Well, the shadow work, I believe, too, is like, because we came here to this earth to learn about feelings and emotions. For me, when I did when I was doing shadow work a while back, I hid every emotion, every single shame, blame, the fear. Bobby went through it with me. That was a friggin' mess. And it was all at one time. And it was like a week long of every time I closed my eyes, it was a movie going on. It was like I would see scenes from my past, from when I was a child, and I would go right. It was almost like, okay, well, tonight's theme is, and I would go to this area, and I'm like, oh my God. And it would just trigger me. Everything triggered me. Everything. For a week long. Bobby, remember that?
Yeah, but that's good because that showed that you cared enough about this time, this lifetime, and this timeline
Right.
in order to get rid of that to make you lighter for ascension. So when you do that and you peel away the layers of what we were taught to believe, what grids are there, there's so many of them. There's we've been told that we're not allowed to ascend, that we're not as powerful as we really are. Now that the negative knows that we know that we are so powerful that we can squash it anytime we want.
Right.
That's why all the negatives running scared, because it's not going to exist if it doesn't have the consciousness held down and with the anchors. I can't get my words out tonight. I don't know why. But
No, it's
that's
the energy today. I don't know what's going on.
like your
May I ask a question?
Sure,
Like
Sally.
when you go to different timelines, are your parents the same, or like does everyone swap around? Like if you go to a different timeline, like and you see yourself dying in front of parents, Brian, is it the same parents? You know what I mean?
The past 2 lifetimes, yes. It's the parents that I had before, that I have now in this life. They were the ones that observed me being killed in front of them. They were the ones that I left Ireland and never got to see again.
So maybe
So,
they
for-
needed to see you again, and so you guys stuck together for the next timeline.
You mean lifetimes or you mean timelines? Because there's different lifetimes that have different timelines, and then there's different timelines that have different. It's tricky when you think about it, because you could be 3 lifetimes ago, have cell memory, and you're working out the karma from that, but yet you're here and you could go through different timelines, which is not the same as a different lifetime.
Right.
Oh, it's
Say that 10 times.
I'm gonna let Brian take this. I don't know what I'm asking.
Yeah, well, you do have different lifetimes, but with my parents, it was, I guess you could say it was 2 different lifetimes that I had them as my parents, and they saw me being murdered in one life, and I left them in another. But also, see, to me, when I say lifetimes, I'm also talking about timelines, because my guide tells me a lot of the times they're interconnected.
Of course.
Right. We discussed
However,
that. Yes.
however that is, she just tells me they're interconnected. That's all I get. And I'll ask her for more, and she's like, oh, don't worry about it. You're good.
Oh.
As long as you get the basics of it, you're good. I'm like,
Because they're
I
happening
just
at the same
sometimes
time. Everything is simultaneous. That's what we've been told, is that everything is simultaneous. And that's why, like, Bobby, where are you? Are you there?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. I thought I can't. You know what? This thing is in the way, and I can't see your face.
Sorry for that.
No. I'm like, I have to look through like the lines, and I'm freezing in here today, and I can't even think. Right, Sally? It's like I feel like I'm seeing an iceberg. But we were always taught that there were lifetimes and stuff, but then we were told that no longer. We were just discussing that about the timelines being simultaneous. And that's why there's lifetimes are not really past lifetimes. Explain that again, Bobby.
Say that again.
Because it gets confusing for people with timelines and past lives. And I'm still wrapping my head around it, because I know that we are a different dimension right now, so it's not everything is simultaneous.
I'm not the top person to ask.
I know
but
you're not,
what
but
I was told. So
right.
there's different. Well, Spirit tries to teach me too, but so there's different lifetimes,
Right.
but there's different timelines in that particular, all those different lifetimes. So like when we say, okay, I'm really fearing this, and I don't know why, and I feel anxious. I really don't want to go to the store today. I just feel like I can't, because I feel like if I go out, I'm going to get blah, blah, blah. So then somebody would say, well, then get off that timeline, crush it. Like that's not even don't even go there. Don't think of that. So then it's like that. But when you're in other lifetimes, you can't be like, oh, I'm living another lifetime, and your mind's not going to go there. You're going to maybe have karma from that lifetime. You're going to experience maybe, like triggers from another lifetime, if possible. Like we don't know how it all blends together. I think it's different for each person, depending on what they wanted to experience in each lifetime. But again, it goes back to the contracts, because we've had them for so long, like, hundreds and hundreds of years. This is new to us, that we don't have to experience any of that. We just have to think the value. It's very simple. Your value, your worth, what you want to experience. Do anybody ever see that movie with Robin Williams, What Dreams May Come?
Oh,
Oh,
best
right,
movie.
yeah.
Best.
Okay, go watch it. It's a little sad, of course, but it really depicts a lot of what people think versus what it really is when they show the painting. So if you're going to sit there and you're going to worry about all these things that happened, don't. You got to go and know your worth, your value, love yourself, look in the mirror, raise your vibration, see what you want to experience, because the canvas is empty every day. So bring in what you want to experience, because you don't have to adhere to the contract. There is no more. People want to think there is, and they think that they have to be. It's like, it brings me back to the old Italian ladies in my family. They want to, who wore black after their husband passed. They never could get in another relationship. They felt like that was their role to play. I don't know why that comes to mind all the time, but it does. This is my role. I'm sad. There is no one for me. I'm lonely. This is somberness. It's don't enjoy life. Then you have somebody else who thinks like, they are high and mighty, and they don't have to, they don't have to give in to anything for anyone else. They're snotty, and it depends on where your mind is at. So what you think of yourself is what you're going to attract. Picture yourself as a big, huge magnet, and anything that you say and you can think is going to come to you. So when you think of something, I don't care if it's insecurity, if it's this, you have to blank that out and say, I know my worth and I know my value, and I am not experiencing that. So see ya. You experience a pain, go lay down in your bed. Some people call it their pod, where their healing pod or whatever. You go to the bed, you lay down, you talk to your higher self and say, what's this about? Let me push through it. That could be one of what Brian was talking about, your shadow selves. You're experiencing pain. Pain is a resistance of issues that you've gone through. That took me so long to get through. I was like, what? Huh? I don't understand that. So you create pain in your body by holding on to fear, experiences, and then we build up the energy in that area, and it becomes pain body. So the knee thing that I was having a problem with, and the back, and I'm still working through that. But it works when you really get a grip in your mind and don't allow that negative to come to you. No, I know I'm more powerful than that. That's not what I want to experience. Everything's happening at the same time. In 5,000 years from now, in 3,000 years that way. So you have to remember just to live in your heart, because the heart center is what's ruling the 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's all about love, joy, and all of that. There's no more of this crap that we don't have to experience it anymore. It's just, it sounds so simple, but what I've watched, what I've read, and what I've talked about, it is that simple. It's getting this mind to another point. Kim just really, I have to say this. Kim, I think 2 days ago, I sent this to a lot of people, probably all of you.
Seen it.
Yes.
I sent to you about the
rebirth.
being in the womb right now, and we have the
canal.
rebirth. That was the best description that I've heard yet. She said it on point. I was like, this is it right here. Send it to as many people as you can, because she obviously channeled that, and I thought it was magnificent. I was like, wow, that's great. Because it really helps people to see you're in the womb, we're rebirthing. It's that whole transformation coming out of the shell that the fear and the negative has kept us in. That third dimension has really done a number on humanity and our egos, and kept us there, like, smothered underneath the cover. And it's feeding off of all of the negative, and the addictions and the killings and the cancers and all that crap. So we have to rise above it and say, this is not who we are. We are God. God is inside each one of us. And we have to use our innate ability to heal ourselves and to climb that mountain. And really just, it's simple. If you think about it, I get caught up in the thing sometimes, like, wait a second, let me take a little break and go inside and do my thing. And it really works. The newest thing is praying to your future self. I was just talking with Maria last week, and I was like, you know what? I keep praying to God, and I keep praying to, I'm asking the Octorians to come in, and I just don't understand this. What am I doing wrong? And she's like, stop. I know I mention her a lot because she's the one I'm learning from.
Did she tell you to shut up?
No.
Stop. I can just hear her say it too. Stop.
So
go ahead.
So she taught me that stop praying to anything outside yourself. And I did not understand. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, well, you're asking for this one, you're asking for that one, and then you're saying you need to know and you don't know. And she's right, because I was all over the board because I was getting frantic with the knee thing that happened after this ascension thing. I mean, cranial sacral. And she explained to me about you pray to your future self and you ask your future self to come in and resolve the issue. I said, that's that simple. And she said, it's that simple, Bobby. It's that simple. You're praying to everyone outside of you. She says, but who's inside of you? I said, God lives inside of all of us. And she says, okay. So that God inside of you can heal, is divine. And why are you praying for something to come in when you can heal from within?
Right.
So I started doing that. And I swear I went 4 to 5 days with no pain. I think that when I go back to some of those shadow selves, like you said, or some of the fractals or whatever you want to call them, and working out, that I picture like a vacuum, like a hose, and I see all the stuff, the layers being sucked out. Like, this is not working for me anymore. This needs to get lost. This person can go to hell. This person can, like, I don't care. There's people that, hang on to you and try to suck your light and do things to you, say things to you, and your mind plays tricks. So you constantly have to be on every day. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take over the show, but I just feel passionate about
with Bobby.
letting people know. So go ahead, Brian. Yeah.
Brian, our poor guest. Go ahead, speak, my Brian.
But it was, as you were talking about the timelines and stuff, my God, Aunt Yolanda was showing me the timeline is always there, but how we connect into that timeline is through the lifetimes. Is as she was showing me. It's almost like a plant. When you see the stem of a plant, you see a little bud coming off each end. That's basically what it is. The timeline keeps going on, and it's almost like a big garden. But if you look at an individual timeline, it's the stem of the plant, but the lifetimes come off of it. That's how she was showing me just a few moments ago. But I find that that video that you sent me, Bobby, I was just sitting there like listening to it and going,
Me too.
I'm like,
really good.
I was like, what? Because I was noticing a lot of my friends and we've been talking. We're like, yeah, that feels right, because we're right there, because we can.
Yeah.
If you can resonate with something like that, and I was just like, oh my God.
So for anybody that's watching that you want to go watch it, go to Kim's Instagram or her Facebook, and it's a post about, or TikTok even.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a TikTok that she did.
Yeah, but she posted everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was about how we're in the womb right now and we're going through the ascension and we're going to be birthed. And it goes along the lines of the rabbi that I talked about a couple shows ago about.
Oh, I loved him. I started watching him.
Isn't
I
he
absolutely
great?
love him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great. He's great. He talks about all of that.
So I just want to ask you guys about timelines. How do you guys feel? Because I always feel when I get those deja vu moments,
Yes.
I'm always thinking, is this just another timeline?
that's what you've experienced already.
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of them lately, though. Have you been getting them, Gina? I was getting
I
like
get them every
bombarded.
now and then. It's really strong.
Yeah,
They
it's
feel
so
really
strong. It's
Because
like
if
feels so
you're
real.
ascending, everything's going to start coming out. Everything's going to come up and out. It's like purging by itself. So let it out. Throw it up. Write it out. Pray it out. Whatever you got to do.
Sylvia Brown always used to say, when you have deja vu, that means you're on the right path.
Well, I had a deja vu.
Well,
you were on the right
It wasn't
path.
really a good thing. I didn't like it.
And,
I had a deja vu in a bad moment. But I guess
You
it
know-
was okay. I let it go. I let
When
it go.
I have been caretaking for my mother for the past year through her cancer treatment. And there were moments where I would be sitting there going, wait a minute. I was having a deja vu moment. I'm like, okay, all right. That means whatever I'm working on, whatever I'm doing, whatever path that I am currently on means I'm right where I need to be and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the more I go through, sometimes it'll come in real quick, like, boom, here you go. You remember this moment? I don't know. For me, it's just I need that little extra kick from spirit to let me know that, okay, I am on the right path, because there are moments where I'm like, am I even supposed to be doing this? Am I even supposed to be writing books from spirit or doing this or doing that? And it's like, they'll kick me with the deja vu and be like, yeah, you stay here. You keep going this path. You're right where you need to be. So I just find it's where I'm supposed to be.
Keep in mind that everybody has a different place to be. So everybody, like what's good for one person doesn't mean it's good for the other person. As long as you are climbing your own mountain, so to speak, purging, and we're all at different levels, at different lifetimes, like meaning how many times we've been back. So we all, yes, it's collective, but we're all on our own journeys, and what's good for one might not be good for another. And maybe sometimes, like I was told years ago that, you know, Bobby, when you read people psychically, it might be something that you know is right and true, but they might not be ready to hear it. So you have to kind of close your mouth sometimes. And I said, are you trying to say I have a big mouth?
No.
I said it's fine, and I know I do, but I'm compelled sometimes to say things, and I don't know why, but I feel like if I don't say it, then the person's like, it could, you know, it's not good not to say it. It's better to say it and let them be pissed than to say it.
Well, I mean, you can say it. I mean, you can say it, and then if it doesn't resonate with them,
Right.
as the time goes on,
usually like
they'll
a
remember
year or
it.
two later, they'll be
Right.
like, oh
And
my
then they'll
God.
say,
I'm like,
"Oh my
okay,
God."
well,
Right.
Spirit wanted you to know. That's all.
Well, I always say when you have readings, you know, your interpretation, the person who's receiving the information may not want it. They want it to fit a certain way. So
Yeah, you don't like it. I
You know what I'm
told
saying?
people, don't
It doesn't
make
fit.
Just let it fit.
let it flow.
Let it fit the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. They
Don't
try to
make it
squeeze
a
that
whole different
square
scenario.
into that circle. It don't really work. You know.
Yeah.
Gina, what do you feel about the timelines with the deja vus? Are you like, when you get them? How do you feel?
every time I have one, I'm always in a place of, wow, this has got to be another timeline, because the feeling is so vivid and so real, and it could be the most mundane little thing, but I just get this feeling like, wow, I feel like I just did this a second ago. And wouldn't it be interesting that one timeline can speak to another, but we're just not, as humans, not aware of it? Wouldn't it be nice to tap into like another timeline to say, oh, what did Gina A, what did you do in this session or in this experience? And Gina C, what did you do in that
No, you gotta give
experience?
yourselves different names. Like, I'm gonna be Babs. Babs in one, right? My thin Babs, I'm gonna call her Thin Babs. I want to know what I'm gonna talk to her. What are we eating in the future to lose weight? What are we exercising? What's the new grand thing? You know?
I'll just do the future self to ask that's coming to
Right.
evolve.
I've done that before. I spoke to Babs before. She's cool.
I'm gonna do that. I never thought of speaking to the future self.
That
makes so much
Yeah,
sense.
and now I do it every day.
Don't we speak to their inner child? We speak
Right.
to the
Yeah,
inner
well,
child.
that you should do it a long time ago. I think they
Yeah.
told us.
That
Inner
that
child
we
is
do.
first, then it's inner child, then it's fractal selves or shadow selves. It's like all the ascension steps, I guess, however they come up. And I know a lot of us are similar in that.
Well, we keep talking to our past selves, our future selves. We have no time to talk to each other. Very busy. I'm sorry, Bobby. I can't talk to you. I got to talk to my future self.
I'm like, why so
I
quiet?
got to put you on hold. Babs is speaking. I got to go. She's giving me some good shit over here. I got to go.
You should get a column. Tell it to Babs.
Tell it to Babs.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. I like that a lot.
Babbling with, I was in high school. They said Babbling with Babs was supposed to be my show. I guess I talked a lot. I think I talked a lot in high school.
Yep. I love play on words. So
I know you do.
With Babs,
Babbling with Babs.
Love.
I don't know. We'll see. Hey, we have a great show coming up next week. Bobby, tell about David. Gina, did you just meet David?
I met him on social media, but I haven't met him in person.
Well,
and I just want to tell you, I'm fascinated to speak with him.
I can't wait to see him. I know he's 3,000 miles away.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, David's going to be, I spoke to him today. Oh my God, the man, I could feel my whole body vibrating as I'm talking to him. I said to him, are you sending me energy? He goes, I have been for since this morning, darling.
Yeah,
with his English accent. I love him.
Ago, and I was sitting at the computer. We were talking on the computer for maybe 7 hours, and my shoulder started to hurt really bad. Not only did he know the shoulder was hurting, but he asked me after it stopped hurting if my shoulder still hurt, and I was like, no, it just stopped. He said, good, because I sent you the energy. I'm like, what? He's like the ultimate. I told you about him when I was in Colorado, and I was like near I would say death for myself. That's how I felt with my back. And I broke down and called him, and he was the only one. He sent whatever he sent, made it feel like somebody came down and put their hands on my spine and kept him there for about 2 hours so that I could sleep, because I hadn't slept in like a day and a half. Oh. And he put me to sleep, and I soothed my soul. And I was able to get through this like really messed up place I was in my mind with this pain. It was horrific. And since then, like, I try not to bother him too much, but for over the years, yeah, he's pretty powerful. He considers himself the healer's healer. So he works on people that do the healing and teaches the healers how to heal. Uses a special technique that not a lot of people use, but we're going to get a bit of him next week. It's going to be great.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
He's like 5 hours ahead of us.
5 hours ahead,
yeah. Doing this at like 11:30 at night.
10:30. Yeah, he's so funny.
He'll sleep a little beforehand.
Yeah, well, he told me he has his whiskey before bed. He's going to hold off on the whiskey until after our show. I said, well, thank you. No spirit was spirit that night.
Yeah, I spoke with him about.
You can't.
No, we can't.
About 2 weeks ago, we talked on FaceTime, first time in a while, and he's very funny. His whole energy shifted. He's so much more confident, and it's a real treat. So everybody should call in if you choose.
Yeah, they should call in because he is like so fascinating. He's a lot of fun. I had
a lot of callers now because people are driving home from work or making dinner. So
that's what are you gonna do? Well, a different timeline, Bobby. Talk to our future selves, and we'll move the time.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Thank you so much for the last minute.
No problem.
Yes, thank you, Brian. So appreciate this, and it was so great to see you again.
We'll have you on as a guest instead of a co-host next time, so you can plug some more things.
Well, actually, where can people buy your books, Brian?
You can link everything on my website, www.brianwarner.com.
Spell that so that people know how to spell your last name.
BrianWarriner.com.
Beautiful.
I think you're still on my website. I remember.
Yeah. You can also find me on Bobby's website too.
Okay. Yeah. And Gina, your book is up on Amazon. People can
Whispers of Love. If you guys want to,
Perfect.
Okay, everybody.
And Bobby, you have your gift certificates and specials. Are they still running?
Yes. If anybody wants gift certificates, just You could email through the website. I did have, the 10%, and it did end. But if you mention today's show, I'll honor it. So
Okay.
I'll tell my office assistant. So
Okay.
it's all
Great.
good.
Well, thank you
Thank you so much,
guys.
everybody.
So nice to see everyone. Brian,
Awesome.
you're
Have
a
a great
doll.
week, everyone.